tough, hard-fought, close game, just like we've been in for several weeks now. Physical. Unfortunately, we came out on the short end of this one. Our guys battled all the way to the end. It was really a defensive game, I guess you could say. Again, it's when you give up each offense only found the end zone one time, so not a lot of scoring in that respect. A bunch of field goals, but like I said, we played hard. Came up one play short. They made one more play than we did at the end there. That was the difference in the game, and unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. So we got to come back, get ready for Oregon. Great football team, ranked number 5 in the country, very much deserving of that ranking. They might be even better than that, but a very balanced team, running the ball, throwing the ball, led by an exceptional quarterback, and they got a lot going for them right now. So we got a tough challenge ahead, but we got them at home, which helps our cause, and our guys are looking forward to the opportunity. So questions? Wait for that mic.
You have the quarterbacks listed as co-starters again, or what have you seen out of those guys, and what would you kind of like to continue to see?
Well, we'd like to throw the ball a lot better than we have been, and I say throw the ball, not literally the quarterback throwing the ball, but more production in the throwing game, and that's really been, if you had to put one or determine one thing that's really held us back this year, it's the lack of production throwing the football, and so that's been an ongoing problem, and we got to get that solved. And yeah, the quarterback position is, it's competition this week. It's open back up, so we'll have them compete in practice and see what transpires, and go with the guy that we feel is going to give us the best chance to win.
How much of the struggling in the passing game had to do with the receivers not being able to get separation? How much credit do Arizona State?
A lot of it. Give Arizona State a bunch of credit. They had a nice scheme. They gave us a heavy dose of pressure. We didn't really have a good answer for it, and we got to be better. We got to be more equipped as an offense to deal with pressure than we were Saturday night.
So coming into the season, one of your offensive goals was to reduce those turnovers, and you guys have accomplished that. Travis has 0 interceptions, but at the same time, your offensive production has slipped, maybe because of it, I don't know. How do you balance the aggression versus the protection?
Well, you're exactly right. Taking care of the football is job one, and we've done a good job of that this season, but you also got to be able to put some points on the board. Oregon's a great example of that. They've only turned the ball over 6 times all season long, and have been very aggressive on offense and prolific and getting a bunch of yards and a bunch of points. And so I think you can do both. But that the reason we've been successful, we're 6-2, which is not bad, is because of the ability to take care of the football on offense and get the ball turned over on defense to our offense. I think that's been, if you had to say what is maybe the one biggest key to the season this far, one statistic, it would be that, is the turnover differential, and so that's of great importance. And I don't want to say the offense is not doing some good things, because they are. It just boils down to not being able to throw the ball well enough and get production there, because we're running the ball effectively, we're taking care of the football, so we're doing some good things, but you got to be able to be balanced, and right now we're not very balanced offensively.
Have you guys as a staff put any restrictions on Travis, audibilizing, changing, doing anything at the line of scrimmage?
No, no more so than any other year. We don't do a whole lot of that at the line of scrimmage, but there are some check with me things that he has on his plate, but there's been really no restrictions. I mean, he has parameters that it helps determine what play he'll get us into, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Is he doing what he should be doing as far as you guys can tell?
Yeah, in that regard, nobody's perfect. I mean, all the decisions where to throw the ball haven't been perfect, which, like I said, it's something that, nobody's going to make the right decision every time, but he's done an exceptional job taking care of the football, and so that's a big positive for Travis. One of his strengths this year, especially when you contrast it with last year.
With Drez out and the receivers not able to get the separation that maybe you'd like to see, are you planning to change the play calling, maybe set up different route structures, or what's kind of the plan? Maybe use Booker more, even more?
We're looking at every option, and some different route structures are certainly one of the options. Booker, I don't know how we can use him more. He carried the ball 37 times, and so I guess we give it to him every snap. That would be more, but we've got to look at everything that we can possibly do to try to enhance the offensive production, in particular throwing the football.
As far as it seemed like the offense was very effective when Travis was able to run the football. Do you kind of look back at the ASU game, think maybe that could have been more utilized down the stretch, or are you going to use that more in future games possibly?
We don't. Travis is a very capable runner, and maybe we should have dialed up a few more pure Q run game plays. But I think no matter how you cut it, if you can't throw the football, they're going to load the box up just like ASU did, exactly like ASU did. They had 10 men within 7 or 8 yards of scrimmage almost every snap. And we got to have a way as an offense to loosen up the defense, and the only way to do that is to get the ball up the field throwing it. And we haven't been able to do that last several weeks.
Now, one similarity between this year and last year is very close conference games. Last year, you lost more of those close games than you won. Mm-hmm. This year, you've got close losses to Washington State and Arizona State, but you're still winning more close conference games than you've lost. This week, you've got the toughest challenge yet. What's the attitude of the players going into this week, and how they feel about themselves?
Well, the attitude's very good. I mean, they're obviously very disappointed. About Saturday night, and they that was a tough one, and a fight, and slug it out for 60 minutes plus an overtime and come up short. That's hard to take, but they'll rebound, they'll respond, and we've got a lot of. Told them several weeks ago this season's going to be full of great opportunities, and this is another one coming up this week. And they're looking forward to it.
Defensively, you really held Arizona State well below their scoring average, yet a couple of dropped interceptions that would have turned the outcome of that game. Is there anything to work on? Is that kind of one of the problems you had last year with the drops?
It is. We're second in the league right now in picks. I think we got 10. I think the leader is 11, if I remember the statistic correctly. But either one of those two would have helped tremendously. And but they didn't. They're not obviously trying to drop the ball. They're doing everything they can back there. I thought our pass coverage was pretty darn good overall. When you look at what Arizona State has done earlier in the year, and that strong kid, the receiver, is a tremendous receiver, and we held him fairly well in check. Didn't completely shut him down, but he didn't get his usual numbers, and so. But we did come away with 2 interceptions in addition to the missed opportunities, and so. But it would have been great. That might have been a game changer. Have been able to convert either one of those, but we didn't, so it's a moot point.
We see some changes on the offensive line. At least Lecca looks like Lecca's going to be the starter going.
You study
forward.
That depth chart, don't you? You got it down. Yeah, Lecca will be starting at right guard, and he was not out, but slowed by injury for a few weeks. He's back to 100%, and so he's a guy that we think has a huge upside. He's just a freshman, just a redshirt freshman, but he's a physical kid that brings a lot to the table. And Isaac Asiata is playing very well in addition. And so to get them both on the field, we got to get our best 11 out there. Made the move of Isaac to left guard, and Junior Salt's still going to play. He's still a guy that we have faith in and know can give us some good snaps. But in order to get the combination we think right now is our best, that's the move we made.
Dave, as a play caller, is obviously playing to your strengths of running the ball, but did you expect him to have more impact on the passing game?
Well, we hoped to be more balanced as an offense, without a doubt. We were early in the year. We were throwing the ball pretty good, but we just have kind of gone into a funk now in the throw game, and for whatever reason, it's not where it needs to be for a lot of reasons, but we got to get back to trying to figure it out.
Do you have a feeling of how likely you are to have Tevin Carter and Eric Rowe healthy this week?
We think feel good about Eric, really good, and Tevin now is getting to the point where, you know, it's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back at times, and so there is a possibility. There is a possibility that if Tevin is not ready this week, we've been told that a medical hardship is in his favor and looks good if we go that direction. And so if it's to the point where he can't play this week, which right now it's unknown, with only 3 games in the regular season left after that, we may very well just say, okay, let's just, you know, look towards next year and get him an extra year. So that's a situation we're talking about and thinking about right now. It really, and if he's not ready to play, the decision makes itself. If he is ready to play, then we got a decision to make on which way to go with it.
Kyle, I guess the Ducks present a quandary. Is the best defense, the good offense, and then did Arizona provide the template for success? Nobody else has, I think, held them under 38 points.
Yeah, they had both offensive tackles out during the Arizona game. I think they were playing with a true freshman and a walk-on that hadn't played much at the right tackle. Talking about Oregon. And so that really helps your cause, you know, when something like that happens. And so I don't know if they have the blueprint, but they certainly got after him, and particularly on the perimeter in that game. But to answer your question, yeah, the best way to defend Oregon's offense is to keep it on the sideline as much as you can. And in order to do that, you got to move the chains with your offense and take care of the football and be productive. And that is without a doubt the best way to try to defend them.
With a hardship possible for Tevin, how do you feel about the play of true freshman Marcus Williams?
It was a bright spot, and I think if you look at and compare his play in that game with the game that he played in Washington State, it's night and day, and he's really come a long ways in the last month or whatever it's been since we played Washington State. And really, for a true freshman put into that situation, I thought he handled it exceptionally well, and that was something that I should have mentioned earlier, but that was a big positive for us, is to have him step up and play as well as he did in that game. Made very few mistakes and made a bunch of tackles.
The last 2 times you guys upset top 10 ranked teams, last year against Stanford and this year against UCLA, you were coming off close losses both weeks. Mm-hmm. What do you see in the preparation of this team? What do you think you're going to see this week that's going to get them prepared to face a really tough Oregon team at home? Well,
they got to work their tails off in practice like they always do. You know, this team has never had an issue not practicing the right way, not preparing the right way. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why we've had success this year is the way that they take care of business Monday through Friday in the film room as well. I mean, there's so many things that go into preparation, but I would expect this week to be no different. We've got great leadership, as I've mentioned, all year long, and those leaders need to make sure that we continue with the work ethic and the way we approach the games, and there is no drop-off in that area.
In a conference of great quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota may be the best. He's number 1 in passing efficiency. I guess many coaches looking for the secret formula how to slow him down, but what are his strengths that just need to be dealt with?
Well, he's throwing the ball exceptionally well, as you mentioned. He's leading in efficiency. He's completing nearly 70% of his balls at 68 point something. And in addition to that, he's lightning quick as a runner. I mean, he's a 4.5 40 guy. I mean, he's a guy that can pull it down and go rip off 60 yards, you know, without blinking an eye. And so you've got to be able to defend it all. And that's the thing about a dual threat quarterback that truly is a dual threat that can do both very well. And he's, like you mentioned, he may be the best in the conference overall. And we got a work cut out for us. And the defense has got a big order. You got to keep him in the pocket. And not, you know, your lane distribution and your pass rush has got to be really good so you don't give him any escape routes out of the pocket. And you've also got to play very good in the secondary because he's an accurate thrower. So he presents as big a problem as you can have from a defensive standpoint, a quarterback that can do both really well. You can't load up for one or the other.
Nate Orchard is named a semifinalist for the Bednarik Award. And you've talked about his season already, but you know, what do you think that recognition means for him, and how are you seeing your defensive line matching up with Oregon's offensive line, which seems to improve lately?
Well, I think it's great for Nate, and I think he's certainly deserving of being considered for that and deserving of winning it if he ends up doing that. He's had a very good season. You know, we're 2/3 of the way through with 1/3 of the season left, and so far he's been outstanding, not only from his play and what he's done on the field, but his leadership and what he gives us there. I know that's probably not factored into the award, but he's been a huge component of our football team, and then our defensive line. I mean, we're still, 8 weeks in, leading the nation in sacks and in the top 5, I think, in tackles for loss. So the defensive line and what they've done this year has been tremendous, and really has been the starting point for our defense. We've been able to play the defense we have to this point because of the play of the defensive line.
Kyle, how would you kind of describe the cachet of Oregon in this conference? They're not in your division, and they're not even the defending champs, but are they still kind of the gold standard in a way?
I think so. I think you got to point to them right now. They're the only team in the conference. Well, I guess Arizona State and them have one loss, but they're certainly the I don't know what the word I'm looking for, the marquee team, I guess you could say, of the league right now, and their ranking exemplifies that, and they're really in position right now to the playoffs and everything that's being talked about. They're right in the thick of all that, and so they without a doubt, in my opinion, are the top dog in the league right now.
Solving the pass game is a complex equation. One of those variables that goes into it is the pass protection.
Mm-hmm.
Will you talk about your pro that you had on Saturday, and if you feel like it was poor, what do you need to do to fix it?
I wouldn't say it was poor. With the amount of pressures they gave, I think we picked them up pretty good in the throw game. Not great. I mean, there's always room for improvement, but they were bringing 5 and 6. We probably faced a 5 or 6 man rush 80% of the time. I mean, that's how much pressure they brought. It was every other, every play essentially was pressure dialed up in one form or another, and so that being the case, I thought they did a pretty decent job picking it up. Now, what we needed to do is hit some shots down the field. That's the only way to get a team out of that, is to make them pay for it by getting over the top a few times, and we didn't do that, and we didn't attempt that enough, if at all.
Why didn't you attempt it?
Well, Dave maybe didn't feel comfortable that we were getting the separation, that we could get over the top on them, there's also, when you blitz, there's also a risk of letting a run, because if you crease them on a run when they're bringing all that pressure, it's out the gate, and so there's more than one way to beat a blitz, but I think that based on our strengths and what we're doing well, I think that Dave felt that the best way to maybe try to take advantage of that is to get Booker a crease up the middle. But at some point, we got to throw the ball over the top.